On RTI, there's only one thing which has been released, which also, as per RTI rules, should never have been released. And this was a MOD noting of couple of pages, which MOD itself had labeled top secret. It was third-party information. And this material asked for one Mr. Sinha with the address of Dwarka, who was also initiator of the RTI on the age right in the beginning in the month of January, February or December.
Are you saying he was set up?
Obviously.
Who was setting it up?
People who were interested.
But who was releasing the information?
The information was released by the MOD.
The Ministry of Defence was working against you?
That some people might have been.
Might have been or were?
Some people who were not happy with the way things were being done would have been unhappy.
Now, what you're saying here is very interesting. And before we go forward, I want to stop you right here and I want to ask you that from what I understand, General VK Singh, you are saying that information was being selectively leaked to fix you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, my counter question to you is, information is power. Why did General VK Singh, as a vocal army chief, keep quiet about the bribe being offered to him in September 2010? Because from what he says, it is against his own character, inimical on his own character, to be quiet about it for a period of 1.5 years.
Arnab, I was not quiet. It is like this. The DSR by which we go by stipulates, if you find any wrongdoing, please report it to your superior officer.
DSR implies?
The Defence Services Regulation.
Right, thank you.
I went to the Honorable Raksha Mantri,
yes,
and I told him, and he acknowledged it. I'm very thankful for that.
Yes.
I think we can't have a more honorable man than our Honorable Raksha Mantri. A lot of people could have said...
You say that though he's disagreed with you on many occasions.
That's okay. But he's an honorable man.
Let's proceed. You went to the defense minister.
I went to him. I told him this is what has happened. He listened to it.
Yes.
And I also told him that I'm not going to allow this file to go through. He said, perfectly fine. I came back and did my work. Now, it only came up subsequently, much later. Just like now the CBI inquiry has been ordered by the ministry, I'm quite sure it could have been ordered at that time.
No, my question is different, retrospect. And this has been described. I think in Parliament, Mr. Anthony said, I held my head in my hands.
He did.
You wish he had done more than that?
See, I think...
Instead of putting the onus back on you, you wish that he had empowered you to take more direct action. Did you need to be empowered? Everyone said the army chief does not need to be empowered. You can call the military police right then and arrest General Tajinder.
It is not so. It is not so. Legally, you were a witness. You couldn't have been a complainant in it. The whole thing should have been started by the ministry, just like what it has been started now. Somebody should have ordered at that time, this has happened, let's ask for a CBI inquiry.
No, but then you went on record, you were provoked in a press release. I think the press release was in April this year, when the story about the leak came out.
Yeah.
No, the bugging story. That you were involved directly or indirectly in bugging the defense minister's office, and all that came out. I am sure you got provoked then, and within 24 hours you put out a press release which you were taken to court for, in which you said that the offer of a bribe was there. So for the public at large, including journalists like me, I got to know about that only when you put that press release out.
It was not provoking. It was something which was being falsely put out, and even there, ultimately when we found out who's doing it, so we had to put out, here is a man who's putting it out, who has been involved in Adarsh, who has been involved in offering bribe in the name of Tatra, and this is what his character is.
Fine, but my question is that, you know what happened after you made that observation. There were investigations. The Defense Expo was going on. Mr. Natarajan was put under the scanner. Documents began to come out. The government was pressured to act, and the case moved to the CBI. I want to ask you today, General VK Singh, when you look back in retrospect, all this has happened last 30 days.
It should have happened in 2010.
That's what I'm asking you.
It should have happened in 2010.
Who do you blame for that? Honestly.
Honestly, I'll say the whole thing should have been ordered at that time by the MOD. Just like they ordered it now. And I'm quite sure we would have had enough time to unravel the entire muck that was going on.
You were convinced there was a Tatra scam.
I was convinced.
Why didn't you act? You
We
only
acted.
held back. You did something. You held back, I think, the mass purchases or the clearances, and I've seen
I
the
held back
documents.
all mass purchases
Yes.
that were to take place
Of the Tatra vehicle.
of the Tatra vehicles during the period that I was.
Yes.
Except
Yes.
only those vehicles for which we have got no other alternative.
Yes, but General Singh, this entire Tatra episode and the re-emergence, of the other scandals, there's talk of Bofors also now, it has all brought the spotlight back on the murky world of Indian arms deals. And I think I would be wasting an opportunity if I interview the army chief and don't ask him point blank, sir, how many more scams exist in your view? In arms deals,
See, it is like this.
in purchases, because I've heard some stories, we have some papers as well, but I'd like to hear from you.
It's like this. I think all deals, if they are not looked at it carefully,
Yes,
if the things are not transparent,
yes,
if they are not probed properly,
yes,
there might be something below it. It is not that every deal is murky,
no,
but certain things are. And that is where comes a much more close interaction between the army and the officials who deal with price negotiations, price fixing, and ultimate orders. Now, so far as the army is concerned, you make technical requirements, you float RFPs, you try it out, and then it goes to the officials in the ministry who, in the defense acquisition wing, there are people, they sit down and then they work out whether this is correct, this is not correct, and then price negotiations take place. So there has to be a much greater synergy, there has to be a much greater interaction between these.
Why are you the first chief in so many years to be talking about this?
I don't know. I
All
think
the
it should have probably hit others also. Or I mean, there can be a number of reasons.
Can we get specific on one particular case which I've got details of? I'm sure you know more about it. But General VK Singh, this is about a vehicle that is also supplied to the Indian Army by BEML. BEML, the Armored Recovery Vehicle, ARV WZT-3. Now, according to reports and some details which we have with us also, company is charging 20 to 30 times the estimated figures based upon previous receipts. When one looks at parts for this particular vehicle, one gets to know that one particular valve which costs, for example, 1,600 rupees is being supplied at almost 40,000 rupees. That's criminal, isn't it?
It is.
It's criminal.
It is.
Have you known about this?
I have come to know about it only recently. I didn't know about it.
Are the figures that I'm mentioning accurate?
Absolutely accurate. And let me also add to it that when I ask our armored corps people,
Yes.
they say this is one of the most useless vehicles that was given to the armored corps. Now, the deal is 15 years old. It's nothing new. Why did it come 15 years back?
Why didn't General J.J. Singh question it?
I don't know.
Why didn't General Deepak Kapoor question it?
I don't know. I've got no this thing.
Why have you not spoken about it till now?
Till the time you don't know about it, how do you speak about it? It is only when we started digging things on the BEML that we found that ARV is also an issue. And
Define issue. Define issue. Why do you say it's an issue? Because
issue is overpricing.
yes,
Issue is dubious quality.
yes,
Issue is getting something from outside, putting your label on it and giving to the army and then showing profit on it. I think these are all issues. And in this, it is outside the purview of the army. Let me also tell you this. We don't decide that this DPSU or PSU has to be favored. Somebody else decides that. It is not the decision of the army. But yes, whosoever decided it, that it is the BEML who is to supply and not looked at where BEML gets it from, what was the quality, how old was the technology.
how does it work?
Okay.
Because at face value, now let's look at face value, what we hear is, it's a public sector company.
Yeah.
What has a public sector company got to hide? You know, a public sector company works for the government of India. So I want you candidly tonight to explain where does the middleman come in, where do the commissions come in, and who plays a role in fixing all of this up? Because what I'm sensing here is acute frustration from your end at a case like the ARV.
I'll tell you, like I'll give an example of Tatra.
Yeah.
Tatra is sourced from Tatra AS in Czechoslovakia,
I'm aware.
in which one particular assembly line has been reserved by Tatra Vectra or Tatra Sipox, whatever they want to call themselves, as the UK-based entity, that on this assembly line, vehicles that they demand will be supplied. They did not want any upgrade of technology. They did not want anything new in it. They wanted an old assembly line. From there, on paper, it goes to another concern of theirs in Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, it comes back to UK, and in all this, the price is hiked up and taxes are saved. And then it is sold to BEML. Right? So, a truck which costs 25 to 28 lakhs, ultimately BEML sells it to the army for 73 lakhs to a crore plus. There is huge profit. I'm quite sure it is between this ghost company setup that has been created by, now we are told, Mr. Ravi Rishi, and some people in the Tatra. The profit must have been shared.
No, but it's not just between BEML and Mr. Ravi Rishi. I'm sure all of this also goes through some government interface.
Must have.
What about the Ministry of Defence Production, for example?
They control it.
What about the bureaucrats of the Ministry of Defence Production?
See, all that I can say is control of PSUs and DPSUs is with Defence Production. Now, how they deal with it is outside my
Is
purview.
it satisfactory?